Hi everyone, Stacey here from Flourish, and just wanted to offer a grounding and yet fluid and spacious vinyasa yoga practice to celebrate the arrival of spring and all that it represents. You can find me live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And our next Sunday Soul Gathering is on April 25th, also a Sunday. Hence the name, Sunday Soul Gathering. These events are designed to be very much like drop-in based. They're different each month, and yet they follow sort of this umbrella framework. And so if you've never attended, I provide a little video intro and workbook ahead of time so that you can just dive in. And this month's theme is the fire element. So we are going to do a deep dive into that, which represents passion, what really lights us up, all the ways in which we feel on purpose, all the ways that we create lasting impact, and many ways in our work and beyond, in our creativity, in our relationships, in our communities. So you can find more information on our website, flourishandflow.yoga. In the meantime, enjoy this practice. It is about 45 minutes in terms of guided instruction. And then I leave space at the end for you to continue and really just harness the power of the at-home yoga practice experience. So you can continue, whether it's a extra long shavasana or other closing postures that you choose. And if you're listening along to the playlist that's provided, the playlist is 60 minutes. So you can really have a full hour practice. All right, we'll get started seated. Thanks for joining me. So we'll begin in a very grounding place, finding a comfortable cross-legged seat. And we're going to reach our fingertips down into the earth and just settle in, down through the sits bones, down through your fingertips, as if literally reaching into the earth. And just becoming aware of your surroundings, your arrival to this practice. It's okay if it takes a bit to get there, where we can really like drop in and shelf everything else. Just allow everything else to wait, right? This next hour is for you. And using this practice, the movement, the breath, the energetic shifts, the release, the surrender, the building of strength, all of the medicine that this practice offers, taking all that you need and simply letting go of the rest. So as we ground down, let's invite in an equal energy of lifted through the heart, through the chest space, rolling shoulder heads back, and continue that length, that rise through the neck, through the crown of the head. Become aware of the face. Do a bit of a scan of your physical. Where are you resisting? Where can we soften? In this practice, we will continually explore the exchange, the intermingling dance between effort and ease, between the solar and lunar aspects of the practice. Finding moments of quiet stillness, surrender, release, intertwining that with igniting sort of like the Agni, the fire within, sort of the physical empowerment of our practice. But for now, just settle in, take another breath here. So invite in that very present companion breath, breathing in through the nose. And you can choose either exhaling out the nose or through the mouth. And as we start to slow down the breath, the breath then becomes our trusted companion in the practice. So on our next inhale, let's reach arms up overhead and just grow tall. Again, from the sits bones up through the heart, up now through the fingertips. We'll take a twist, bringing the left hand over to the right knee. Swing your back hand behind you. Let it drop as you gaze over the right shoulder. And again, scanning the face, Noticing where we can be soft and release any tension. As we gently ring out here, taking one more breath. And then releasing back through center. Again, reaching arms up overhead, growing tall with your breath. And twisting to the opposite side, gazing over left shoulder, keeping the spine long. Finding a one-pointed gaze, allowing the eyes to rest and yet be very focused. Or we can close the eyes and bring that gaze inward, right through that space of forehead center. One more breath here. And then releasing, let's slide hands onto our knees and start to roll out through the shoulders from the hips into the side body, even into the neck. Allow this again to feel fluid, invoking our water element from the hips up through the spine, across the shoulders and chest, into the neck. Finding a rhythm here or cadence that feels just intuitive. If you want to slow it down or stretch it out. Lean into sensation that feels welcome and find a rhythm that feels inherently intuitive. And let's go ahead and switch directions, flowing the other way. Then we'll slow it down, coming back through center. Let's go ahead and switch feet, whichever foot is in front, bringing the opposite foot behind. From here, reaching arms up overhead. And we're going to come into either a variation of eagle arms or eagle arms. So you can cross the right elbow over the left. So crossing at the elbows, holding on to shoulders, like you're giving yourself a bit of a hug. Or you can continue to wrap and intertwine, wrapping around forearms and wrists. Again, notice if you're sinking, try to stay lifted through the heart, just as if someone was gently placing their fingertips right between your shoulder blades. And just continue to breathe into the back body. And you can just stay still with this. Maybe find some gentle twisting as you twist to one side, gaze over opposite shoulder. Mindful of the breath. Or maybe, if this feels welcome in your body, you can also do this just holding onto the shoulders. Start to roll out again, inviting in this kind of fluid movement. Noticing what feels welcome in the back body, maybe stretching forward and down, all depending on, again, what you feel ready for, and especially the low back. And if you've been going in one direction, then you start to find patterns of movement in the opposite flow, in the opposite direction. Allow the breath to be smooth, continuous. And releasing, let's reach arms out wide like a wingspan, reaching back, find a chest opener, interlacing fingers, or you can just hold on to your forearms behind your back, and let's just bring it forward gently, curling in, arriving back up, releasing, reaching arms back up overhead. And then we'll find that on the other side, crossing left elbow over right, again, holding onto shoulders or continue to wrap into eagle arms. Keep the elbows drawing forward, again, the heart lifted. You can stay here and just breathe into the back body, staying still, centered, spine long. Perhaps finding a little bit of a twist to each side. Pause to breathe. Enjoy the slowness, right? And a more fluid option as well. Just circling out in a way, again, that feels like it intuitively feels like spacious, like we're unlocking anything feeling, tight or stuck in the back body, through the shoulders, into the neck. And reversing your movement, your shape, your direction, maybe sliding forward, dropping elbows down, chin to chest, or any other variation that you are choosing. Coming back through center. Again, release like a wide wingspan. This time, we're gonna bring our hands through heart center, Slide hands forward, maybe allowing them to drop to the earth if the elbows touch down, and maybe the forehead or the right between the eyebrows, right to your thumb tips, just to bow and again a release these cycles of surrender and letting go. And just really bowing into like a deep center so we can practice from that steady foundation of center. We're going to make a transition to all fours, tabletop pose, sliding knees hip width apart. Really spread out through your fingers, pressing all the knuckles into the mat. And we'll begin by dropping the belly for cow pose, lifting the tail, rising open through throat, forehead center, and then trace that awareness point through heart as you round through a cat variation. From here, we're going to stretch hips back towards heels. Maybe they touch. Release. Continuing movement. If you just want to roll out into the forehead, into the hips, the spine. This time as we come back forward, we're going to come up into our fingertips, tenting the hands. Again, a really exaggerated slow cow pose, like you're scooping open, plugging into fingertips. From here, create a fist in the low belly. So squeeze the lower abdomen as we begin to round from the base of the spine, slow and exaggerated through a cat-like motion. And then again, stretching back, flatten out the hands, release, be still or roll around. We'll do that once more, coming onto fingertips, drop the belly, nice and slow, lift the tail, open up, breathe in. You can squeeze that lower belly. From the lowest vertebrae, begin to round all the way up the spine, through the neck, dropping chin to chest, and then stretching hips back. Lengthen through your fingertips, release here, or sway side to side. From here, as we bring our shoulders forward, keeping hands flat now, coming right into a plank pose, you're just going to tuck your toes and press the heels back. If you want to keep it modified, keep the knees down. Otherwise, the heels press and stretch back as we keep our shoulders forward, right over the wrists. Again, we're going to create that fist in the low belly so that we're just creating a lot of stability right at our core. Gazing steady, breathe here. And now, as if someone is literally pulling your hips, continue squeezing the low belly back into a mindful downward facing dog. And then just start to move or be still. Follow your instinct, maybe walking it out. Maybe settling in. Maybe heels float to one side and then the other. From here, reach your right leg up, three-legged down dog. Open the hip. You're going to keep the leg long, and then bend the knee. Scoop your knee out towards the right shoulder, and then bring it right in, knee to nose. Lower the knee down as if coming right into a pigeon pose. We're going to, stay upright. And then just settle in. Again, maybe just roll out a bit. We're going to bring it back to a three-legged down dog. So tucking your back toes, scoop your knee in, knee to nose. Stretch it back, lengthen. Again, open the hip, keeping the leg straight. So you're squeezing the outer hip, stamping through the right heel, pressing into the palms. As you hold here and allow the body to open, try to relax the back of the neck as you wrap your inner elbows in and outwardly through the shoulders. So really allow the body to receive this length and this space. Spread out the toes, and again, we'll bend the knee. Scoop out towards the right shoulder. Bring knee to nose. This time as you gaze forward, you're going to step your right foot to the right hand. You can also use your hand around the ankle to support that transition. We're on the ball of the back foot, and we're lightly going to tap the back knee and just pause here. Lifting the back knee now. Lengthen the front leg. You can keep the leg long, knee slightly bent, or come under the heel. Lift your toes. Again, relax the neck as you drop the head heavy. And you can be using blocks here, otherwise up on fingertips. Try to roll out the head, let it be heavy. Maybe roll a bit into the hips, find some gentle movement. And then we'll bring it back forward gently, tapping the back knee down. This time we're gonna reach hands back by the hips and then lift through the chest. Front knee is aligned over the ankle. And now circle arms up and overhead. And from here, bring your hands to touch. Drop your hands to the back of the head so that the head rests into the wrist or forearms. Allow the hips to drop. Stay grounded in that front foot and feel where you are rooted and where you are spacious. Allow your breath to explore this sensation from the hips all the way up through heart space, through forehead center space. We're going to open our arms wide now like a giant wingspan. And then from the front foot, twisting over to the right, gazing over your right shoulder. And then reverse the arms. So left arm up and overhead, back hand either hooks around the low back or slides down the back leg. One more breath here. And we're going to cartwheel our hands down. Lift the back knee. Pivot the back heel down. So you're arriving like in a warrior one stance in the legs. Reaching fingertips back by the hips. Roll the shoulder heads back. Stay equally grounded in both feet. So we're actively pressing to that back leg. Create that fist in the low belly and slowly begin to rise up. Reaching arms up overhead, again, bringing palms to touch. Drop your thumbs behind the base of your skull. All right, so really drop into that front knee as you stay active in the back foot. And again, there's a lift. Just, again, those invisible fingertips, gently pressing right between your fingertips. Scan the face. Notice where you can release and feel soft. This time as we reach arms back up overhead, open your arms wide, breathe in, and then cactus the arms. We're going to reach arms back by the hips, swing them forward, up overhead to the top of your inhale, and cactus back. One more time, swinging hands back by the hips, forward, up and overhead, and over the ball of the back foot as you lower your hands down to frame the front foot, plank pose, stepping the foot back into your high push-up. Modifications are welcome with knees down, otherwise press your heels back. Gaze steady. Squeeze the lower abdomen. This time we're going to lower to our belly as you come forward and elbows hug in, chin stays slightly lifted as we release. Stretch your toes back. And just for a moment, slide your hands together as a pillow for underneath your forehead. And just rest. And breathe into the front body. Breathe into your belly, just like a balloon, across the waist, into the low back. Allow your breath to be the practice in this moment. Feel the body can rise with each inhale and fill up. As you slow down the exhale, release any tension across the shoulders and the back body. One more breath here. And we're going to slide onto our fingertips for a cobra variation. Elbows bend straight up towards the ceiling. Let's begin to rise up again with breath. Drop your pelvis heavy. Lift your kneecaps. Roll shoulder heads back. Plug into your fingertips. Just come as far up as feels good in your back. And then release it down nice and slow. So we'll start to flow with this. So it's more of a dancing cobra pose, again flowing with our breath, opening to the top of our inhale, and then releasing back to the earth with each exhale. And you can stay with that at any time if you just want to hold it, or maybe roll out into the shoulders, dropping one shoulder down, and then the other. Meanwhile, the legs stay nice and strong and engaged. Pelvis is heavy. So we're stabilizing the low back. And releasing nice and easy all the way down. We're going to press back into a child's pose. And either releasing for a moment, just drop in or sway side to side. And now as we come forward through all fours, into a plank pose, tuck your toes, stretch the heels back and just pause. Again, squeeze that low belly. Keep the gaze steady right at the front of your mat, spreading out through fingers, wrapping outward through the shoulders, inward through the elbows, without hyperextending. And again, as if someone's pulling your waist, keep that belly, that low belly actively squeezing as we draw back downward, facing dog. And either settle into stillness or move around in a way that feels good in your body. And then arriving back downward facing dog. And wrapping elbows in towards one another, shoulders out. Press the hips back towards the ceiling. And soften in the back of the neck, the base of the skull, across the face. We'll lift our left leg up. Open the hip. Again, the leg is long. Try not to collapse in your right shoulder. Squeeze that outer hip, stamp through the foot, and then bend the knees, scoop out towards the left shoulder as you come forward. Bring the knee in and just slide the knee as if coming into a half pigeon pose, nice and easy. Just mindful of your transition. Staying upright, come up onto the fingertips. Find a steady gaze as if literally gazing through your forehead center at whatever you see, or close the eyes and breathe. Use each breath to arrive into this present space, into your body. Just envisioning this bubble, this sphere encapsulating your space, declaring it for whatever you want to take in, and whatever you want to let go of. We're going to make our way back into a three-legged downward facing dog, coming out of the ball of the back foot. Scoop the left knee in towards the nose and then stretch it back, three-legged down dog. Again, we'll open the hip. Mindful, try to keep shoulders square, so really press actively through the right hand. As you squeeze the outer hip, stamp through the foot, spread out the toes, and then bend the knees, scoop out towards the shoulder. Bring the knee right into the nose, gaze forward. We're going to step the left foot to the left hand, however you get there. Staying on the ball of the back foot to start, coming up onto fingertips, framing the front foot, or using blocks. Tap the back knee down, just pause here, lifting up a bit through the shoulders, gazing steady. And then lift the back knee and lengthen the front leg so it's like a wide pyramid stretch. Option to lift the toes so you're balancing on the heel of the foot. Release where you can, be soft in the face, the neck, maybe roll out a bit into the shoulders, finding some neck rolls, or even the hips. And as we come back forward, lowering the back knee, reach your fingertips back by the hips. And now rise up in Anjaneyasana. Bring your palms to touch, bending at the elbows, drop your hands behind the head. So you can allow the head just to fall back. So stay rooted in the front foot, but allow the hips to open. Feel that openness through the heart, through the neck, through the front of forehead. And just again, exploring that duality of rootedness and spaciousness with breath. Dive into that sensation. And then reaching arms out wide like a wingspan behind you. Turning to face over the left shoulder. And then dropping the back hand to the body, right arm up overhead. Maybe even a bit of a back bend here. And you can gaze over the shoulder or up at the ceiling. One more breath. And bring hands down, framing the front foot. Lift the back knee into a plank pose, sliding the left foot back. Now from here, we're going to lower knees, chest, and chin for a classic variation of lowering down. Keeping the hips lifted, you can squeeze the low belly, contain, and then slide forward. into a classic Bhujangasana cobra pose. So palms are flat, elbows bent back. Again, rising up, pelvis is heavy, neck is long, knees are lifted, and release with ease down, forehead meets the earth. From here, we're going to cross the right ankle on top of the left, and you're going to reach your hands back for a locust variation, and you can either keep arms in like an airplane open expression or interlacing fingers. We're going to rise up, squeeze the ankles, and just draw inward as you lengthen equally back through fingertips and toes. Spread out the toes. Again, keep the pelvis heavy here. Squeeze the leg muscles. Feel that equal length forward through the neck, through the crown of the head. One more breath here. And release. Uncross the feet, pressing back, child's pose. With ease, drop in, or maybe sway side to side. And anytime you need to exhale the mouth, if that feels cleansing, if that creates more space. Otherwise, just find your breath as we come forward through plank, hands and knees, shoulders over wrists into plank pose. Tuck the toes, stretch the heels back. Again, as if someone's pulling you back, arriving into downward facing dog. Again, we'll reach the right leg, open the hip, squeeze, stamp through the foot, spread the toes. Try not to collapse in the left shoulder. As you bend the knee, scoop out towards the right shoulder. So we're opening the hip joint. Bring the knee forward and we're going to slide into, as if coming into pigeon. Finding your mindful transitions or alternative postures that feel good in your body. From here, now we're going to reach arms out wide. And then up and overhead. And then draw elbows back like a cactus. Again, reach out overhead, inhale. And then draw elbows back. One more time, sweep up. Draw elbows back. Option to reach back now, interlace fingers. And you can always just hold on to your wrists or forearms, otherwise interlacing hands. Open up, find a chest opener. And then release. Bring it forward just for a moment, because we're gonna come back here. But for now, just a brief moment of curling in. And then we're gonna reach it back, three-legged down dog. With the ball of the back foot, tuck the knee in, stretch it back. Open the hip. Squeeze the outer hip, and then bend the knee. Scoop out towards the right shoulder, knee to nose, gaze forward. Step your right foot to your right hand, hold it here. This time we'll bring the back heel down, so we'll come right into our warrior one stance. Hands stretch back by the hips. Try not just to sink into that front hip, like as if someone's drawing your right hip back, yet keeping the knee forward, right? So like a duality. And we're active through the back foot and back leg, squeezing the pinky toe side of the foot there, and then begin to rise up, drop the hips, reaching arms up overhead, hands come to touch, and again, drop your head into your thumbs, keep the right knee forward, but find some surrender, and then reaching arms up, and then cactus the arms. This time we'll swing fingertips back and forward, rise up to the top of your inhale, draw back. One more time, sweep back, forward, inhale. This time reaching back, making our way into a humble warrior. So you can always slide that right foot over, give yourself some space. Then roll down. You can always just rest on your right thigh. Otherwise, bring it down low. Shake out the head. Adjust your feet as needed. Anytime you can release the bind if it feels like too much in the shoulders. And let's all release down. We're going to just keep it low. Hook around the right ankle, and then reach your left hand, come back, so reverse the fingertips to face the back foot. Wherever you want to place it, maybe it's with a bent elbow. Maybe you wrap around the ankle. Otherwise, just reach back, drop lower into the earth, shake out the head, and release quarter turn, facing me, wide-legged forward fold, heels slightly out, toes slightly in. We're going to walk our fingertips forward and drop the ears right between the biceps. And as you reach into all the fingertips, equally stretch back through the sits bones. And then coming into a halfway lift, press into the hands. Slide heels in, toes out, bend your knees with a squat variation to rise open into a 5-pointed star. A nice spacious star pose. Settling evenly into the feet, open your arms out wide. Lengthen the tails, the heart stays lifted. One more breath. And then we're just going to cartwheel down to face your left foot. From here, bring it back, three-legged down dog. Stretch back, open the hip, bend the knee, swing that knee out towards the shoulder, and then bring it in, knee towards nose, sliding into our pigeon stance, and staying lifted. And finding any variations of this that feels okay in your body. If you're following me, reaching up and overhead to the top of your inhale, maybe thumbs touch, and then draw elbows back. Option to side out the mouth. Again, reaching up and down. One more time, reach up and option to interlace fingers and find a chest opener, rolling shoulder heads back. And then releasing again just for a moment. Bring it down into a resting place. Drop your forehead to the hands. Shake out the head, roll out. Or just drop into a moment of surrender and stillness. And we'll make our way back, three-legged down dog. Taking your time with this transition. Want the ball of the back foot to begin to lift the front knee and then tuck it up, knee towards nose. Three-legged down dog, open the hip. Again, bend the knee. Scoop out towards left shoulder, knee towards nose as you gaze forward, stepping left foot to left hand. And we'll just pivot that back heel down. Reach back. Roll open. Draw the left hip back as the left knee points straight forward over the second toe. And then begin to rise up. Reach arms up overhead. Palms touch. Lean the head back. Drop into the hips, into the front knee. Stay active in the back leg. And then reaching arms up. Inhale, open the palms. Draw elbows back. This time we'll swing hands back by the hips, sweep them forward and up to the top of your inhale. Draw down, create some space, some release. Once again, moving energy with our breath. Breathe to the top of your inhale here. And down. And then back on your version of humble warrior. Take your time to set it up. Give yourself some space to drop in without swinging out to the left. Keep that left hip gently drawing back. Stay active through the back leg. Relax the head. Shake it out. And release, stay low. Either hook around the ankle, maybe both hands.
bent elbow, or turn your hand opposite direction back towards that right foot. And just all these points of connection into the grounding earth floor. Shake out the head. Release any tension in the back of the neck, into the skull, across the forehead, down into the jaw. Okay, so release from here. Come to the ball of the back foot, plank pose. Slide the left foot back. Lower knees, chest, and chin. In classic variation of lowering down to the earth. Hips stay lifted. Squeeze the low belly. Slide into a classic Bhujangasana cobra pose. Roll across the chest, shoulder heads back, pelvis heavy, like you're almost gently trying to pull yourself forward. Release down. This time crossing left foot over right, hands back for a locust variation, like airplane arms, or interlace your opposite fingers so it might feel even a little bit off. As you lift the feet, that's okay for the low back. So we're just containing inwardly as we lengthen back equally through the toes and hands and forward through the neck. So the neck is long, through the crown of the head, and squeeze legs together. Face is relaxed and releasing down. Uncross the feet and child's pose, sliding back. Dropping in or swaying side to side. And then from here, finding your transition back into a wide-legged forward fold. So however you get there, quarter turn, center facing knee. Reach your fingertips forward, drop your ears between your biceps, and just really lengthen into the spine. Into the neck. Stay rooted in the feet, in the fingertips. So stretch the sits bones back. Now from here, you're going to slide your hands back flat so they are parallel to the feet, almost like you were about to come into a tripod headstand or crow pose, which you are welcome to do. Otherwise, isometrically pull into your hands to bring your forehead towards your thumbs as you keep your weight forward in the balls of the feet. Bend your elbows straight back. So the crown of the head may lightly touch. You can always adjust the stance in your feet. If you'd rather just hold ragdoll, otherwise, see how much length you can get through the cervical spine. Again, weight is forward in the toes as you equally pull into the base of the palms. And then a halfway lift. Press into the hands. Wrap across the shoulders. And then heels in, toes out, bend the knees as a transition up into a spacious star pose. This time we're going to flow a little bit. So take a nice grounded breath here. All the way to the top of your inhale. Squeeze the legs, express through the hands and fingertips. It's like a goddess variation, except we're going to bring crossed hands, wrists in front of our heart. Option to even like lift on to the balls of the feet and then drop down, rise up, breathe in. Opposite hand crosses in front and in back. Option for mudra, joining thumb and pointer finger. Drop low into your goddess. Option to lift the heels or stay low. And then find this flow now. And you just kind of cross opposite hand in front as you lower. Move at your own rhythm. And I'll invite you to just stay with this. If you ever just want to drop into a goddess, hold there. If you need to rest at any time, come back into your wide-legged forward fold or a ragdoll.
Otherwise, keep it fluid, keep it spacious. Right? And then also the beauty of an at-home practice is you can start to maybe explore some other shapes and movement. I like to think of this as more of a primal flow where you start to follow how your body wants to move and to create just patterns of movement that feel expressive. Allow your arms to do their thing. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You can always stay with those other options. And maybe just some other things start to show up in the body. Maybe start to bring it lower to the earth, this more crouching tiger style of flow. Keep the breath moving. So we're stoking the inner fire, the Agni. And maybe we're low to the earth wherever we are in this flow. And you're touching the earth. We're invoking also a spaciousness, the air and ether elements. The fluidity is the water. And the breath, our lungs, air element, keeps the energy moving. We're going to start to slow it down from wherever you may be. You're going to meet me back, wide-legged forward fold, and just pause for a moment here. Halfway lift. Heels in, toes out, bend the knees to rise up. Star pose. We're coming to a warrior two. Go ahead and turn to face your right foot, bending into the knee. Eagle arms, left arm under, right arm over. Again, always the option just to hold on to your shoulders, otherwise wrap. And you can just stay center, so you can just keep anchored in center of eagle arms forward, spine long, staying in like a warrior two stance anytime if you need to release from that. Lengthen the front leg. Maybe reaching kind of back and then forward. And do what feels good in your body. Moving slow and mindful. Keep the breath in harmony with the body. And whenever you're ready, finding a variation of your choice of an extended side angle. Of course, you can have your forearm to your thigh. Roll that shoulder head back. Maybe coming to a bind or a half bind, a bird of paradise, all kinds of options. Otherwise, you can just hold it here. And if you'd like to find a little bit more of a surrender, so we start to slow down the practice, come to a half bind and then just allow the gaze to fall down at the foot, or maybe roll your right ear towards your shoulder. From here, we're going to lengthen back, reverse warrior, except we'll lengthen the front leg, so it's more of like a reverse triangle. Draw out of the hip. And then as we come back into our star pose, taking a full breath in, we'll find that on the other side. Warrior two, facing your left foot. And then eagle arms, right arm under. And just staying centered, drawing elbows forward. We're finding a variation of this where you're just giving yourself a sweet hug. Spread out the toes, settle in. Maybe start to move side to side. Again, follow your intuitive path, patterns of movement. Just feel fluid and feel most of all safe. Like you're just unlocking and releasing layer upon layer of all tension manifesting in your body. Releasing energetic layers that just feel stagnant. Like from winter, it's spring, so we're reawakening, opening up new channels. And then finding your way into your chosen
variation of an extended side angle pose. An option to stay here, half bind, full bind, bird of paradise. We're just holding it steady, rolling that shoulder head back. As you stamp through the back foot, notice that sensation like in the outer hip, or the outer right hip. And if you want to come into that more surrender variation, finding a half bind and either turning your gaze down, of course you can use a block or have forearm to thigh. Maybe rolling the right ear down towards the shoulder, just gazing at your knee. In no rush, we're going to make our way into a downward facing dog. And now we're going to come into a resting pigeon pose. Reach your right leg up, open the hip, stamp through the foot. You know, if you want to come into something like a foot dog, by all means, otherwise bend the knee. And then you can just meet us in a half pigeon pose. Meet us, meet me. Used to the live classes. And back in the day, in real life. Take your time coming into pigeon. If you're not already there, if you're there, great. Otherwise, just take your time to arrive and to rest, to surrender. If it's comfortable, to close the eyes and to just sit inwardly in this spacious and infinite portal, if you will, when you close your eyes and you just like drop into just awareness and spaciousness, presence and being. Just be a witness and meet yourself exactly where you are at in this moment with the utmost compassion. Thank yourself for carving out this time. Notice the shift of moving into stillness as the breath stays continuous and smooth. And you're welcome to stay here longer. If you're ready to release, just take a moment to nurture a counter to that, whatever kind of movement or rest feels good in your body. Whenever you're ready, we'll set up the left side, lifting the left leg up, opening the hip, bending the knee. And you can option there for a wild thing or flip dog. Otherwise, scoop your knee out. Get a slow mindfulness here. Bring the knee in and just take your time. Half pigeon pose, or of course, any other alternative posture that feels best in your body. As you make your way down into a resting phase, bring the intention of what you wish to receive here as well as let go of. You don't have to define it. And the power of the intention of just presence, compassion, and just diving into that inner space of awareness as a kind witness. Just follow your breath, its movement, its rise and fall.
No rush if you want to stay there, maybe explore other variations of pigeon. We're going to meet on our seat, so turn to face you. And just let's come to a butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of the feet together, wrapping around your ankles or feet so that you can root down. Of course, it's a very grounding earth element pose, all like this container to just bring us into a very rooted, anchored place of like safety and stability, like just our deep, deep center, coming back almost to like baseline, so that we can from there grow. But off the mat from that place, noticing the space between stimulus and response. And we can just pause, anchor, breathe. If it's comfortable, closing the eyes, otherwise just finding a soft gaze. And as we stay nice and rooted, our spine is long. And notice if you've rounded at all. Try to keep that heart lifted as that length continues like through the spine, all the way up through the neck, through the forehead center, through the crown of the head. Imagine like an invisible pull. So we're just going to follow this invisible pull with breath and awareness. Each inhale and each exhale. From the base of the spine, through the hips and sacrum, through belly, solar plexus, through heart center, across the lungs, through throat, through the crown of head, through that forehead center. Just follow your breath. So it's just intertwining along this invisible pull. And that intermingling, effort and ease, of breath cycles. And we'll release from here, reaching your legs straight out in front of you. Let's come into a reverse plank. So sliding hands back under the shoulders. So fingertips are facing forward, middle fingers 12 o'clock. Wrap across the chest, shoulders out. Lift the gaze, you can stay right here. Or if it feels all right, you can lift the hips. Spread out the toes, keeping your gaze forward, or if it's okay for the neck, almost like a fish pose, allow the throat to open, the neck is long and relaxed. And if you're lifted, release down. Stretch arms up and overhead to the top of your inhale. And then we'll spring it forward, Paschimottanasana, into our fold. Doesn't matter wherever you land, just kind of hold on to yourself or touch the mat, touch the earth. Bring your chin into your chest. And then releasing down. Come onto our backs, bring the feet wide all the way to the width of the mat. Knees gently together. Create a diamond mudra with your hands, so thumb tips connect, pointer fingers connect. And bring that triangle diamond shape right to your low belly. So your thumbs are like right around your navel, and the fingertips, as they connect, are pointing downwards towards root. And we're just going to breathe into this space. Just bringing to mind's eye this triangular or diamond shape of hands, and just feel your breath and its presence in this space, in your body, in your fingertips. Allow the rest of the body, the back body, to release heavy and root down. For the face to be relaxed and spacious and air-like. For your breath to continue to be the practice in this moment. Slowing down each exhale, stretching out each inhale.
As you visualize the shape of triangle or diamond, each inhale, feel it become expansive and gain in shape and widen all into each angle. As you exhale, feel it become infinitely small within, and just follow that in your own way, that pattern and that expansiveness of shape with each inhale. Feel it narrow, draw it in when you exhale. And this is where this practice will end in terms of guided instruction. Stay here and give yourself the space, the permission to continue your closing postures into either a final relaxation, maybe legs up the wall, or a seated meditation, or any combination thereof. You want to come into an inversion, or happy baby, maybe something restorative like a block or bolster underneath your hips for a supported bridge pose or waterfall, Viparita Karani, legs up but supported down. Or perhaps at this time you move right into your Shavasana. Give yourself again permission to stay, to receive. Just trust your instinct when it's your cue to close this practice on this day. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you live sometime, Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Be well. Happy spring. Stay longer. Don't get up yet. Take care.